Looks a little like San Francisco in the morning, doesn't it?
Just a little bit, just to, get us ready for the big game.
Yeah.
See the countdown clock there at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. That is the countdown to our 3 o'clock pregame special, right? Love it. Good stuff. All right, well, Sally Ann was just talking about this. A lot of people, our hearts and our prayers are certainly with Rutgers defensive tackle Eric LaGrand. He is in the hospital this morning after suffering a serious neck injury, leaving him paralyzed over the weekend.
Yeah, LaGrand was injured on this play right here, making a tackle against one of the players from Army. He was paralyzed from the neck down on the play. He will remain in the hospital for the near future. Well, one person that knows what Eric LaGrand is going through this morning is former Penn State star Adam Taliaferro. Adam was paralyzed while making a tackle in a game all the way back in 2000. It's, boy, 10 years ago. After spinal fusion surgery, 3 different doctors told Adam's parents their son would never walk again, as you can see right there. 3 months later, Adam walked out of Magee Rehabilitation Hospital and then eventually walked onto the field at Penn State. Boy, I remember that. I was watching it live, Adam. Look at you, chewing the gum, feeling good. Adam, great to have you here with us this morning.
Good morning.
I appreciate you having me.
How soon did the Rutgers coach contact your family or you?
The injury happened on Saturday. Then Sunday morning, Coach Yano called my dad, just asking him kind of, where do I go from here? And he asked my dad, to speak to Eric's parents, and my dad provided Coach with my contact information. And now we're just, waiting and praying for, Eric's health right now.
What would you say to him?
Right now, you got to stay positive. I mean, I'm sure he's hearing a lot of negative news, a lot of bad news from doctors, and he needs his family, he needs his friends, he needs his teammates to be there, because it's easy to get down. I mean, I'm sure he's going through the why me, I can't believe this happened to me, and you just got to have the right mind frame to get through this thing.
So then with your story then, what happened? Did a doctor come in and tell you that you were never going to walk again, or he thought you'd never walk again? How did that go down?
My parents were sticklers. They didn't want me hearing any bad news. So as soon as the doctor would walk in my room, my parents would shield it. So he told my parents that I'd have a 3% chance of ever walking.
3%?
3%. That's what they told my parents, but my parents didn't tell me. So throughout this whole process, I didn't know how bad it was. But as soon as I got back on my feet, that's when my parents said,
Are you serious? They never let you know?
No.
And that probably helped.
It did. And, when people would come into my hospital room, they didn't want anyone crying. They, because I was the same person. I was in tough shape, but they didn't want me seeing people crying. Because if people are crying, I'm like, oh. Wow. Something must be wrong with me, and they didn't want that.
Wow. Now, when you watch football games now, we're talking about, with the Eagles and Sean Jackson, these concussions, I just feel like the guys are getting bigger, they're stronger, but you were actually going in for a tackle,
Yeah,
right?
and it's just instinct. It's tough to prevent. I mean, I was just going in to make a routine tackle, and if you watch it you see it in college football, NFL football all the time. It's just a split-second thing, and unfortunately, the way I went in to make the tackle broke a bone in my neck.
So you put your head down?
I put my head down, and I started playing when I was 7. When you're 7, the first thing you learn when you play football is to keep your head up.
Keep your head up.
See what you're hitting.
See what you're hitting. Because when you go down like this, you can snap
You compress your spinal
column.
column.
This is very similar to what he did then, the same type of deal.
Exactly, and it's a freak accident. I mean, you see guys do it all the time, and they get back up and they're walking, they're playing.
When you watched,
I cringe all the time, especially when you see a guy going in there, and when you see a guy on the ground not moving, that the first thing that goes to my head.
How are you walking then? 97% chance that you wouldn't be walking. How did you do it?
I had 2 things working for me from what my doctors told me. I was an athlete. I was in the best condition of my life that basically prepared my body for the trauma. And within seconds of my injury, I had medical care, as opposed to if you have a car accident, you have to wait 15, 20 minutes. Those are precious seconds. And I had immediate care, and I had top-notch care. I had a great surgeon, and everything else was kind of in God's hands, and thankfully it all worked out for me.
So from the injury to when you were up walking, how long was that time period?
That was about 4 months.
4 months.
4 months in the hospital. I was I got hurt in Ohio, got airlifted back to Thomas Jefferson here in Philadelphia, and then my rehab was all at Magee Rehab. I couldn't move coming in, and they got me back up on my feet.
Well, now he's known around the world, right? I mean, anytime there's a spinal injury, you still have your foundation, of course. Right. And what is the purpose of that?
Our foundation is for purposes specifically like what's going on with Eric right now. We provide emotional, financial support to anyone that has similar injuries to myself or any type of catastrophic injury. We just want to be a crutch. If they need anything, we want to be there to provide it.
Right. I mean, it was horrible what happened to you when you were a freshman, but boy, think of the voice you have now because of it, of course. How does it manifest itself now? I mean, oh, by the way, you're an attorney.
Right.
He became an attorney over the last 10 years, so congratulations to you.
I appreciate that.
How is it? Does it hinder your ability to do things physically still?
Thankfully, I still have the slight limp, and it's tough for me to run, but I'm not on any medication. I'm not doing any type of rehab. Now I just have to work out like any other person just to maintain, what I've gotten back over the past 10 years. So I'm really blessed and thankful. It's amazing for me to still have the same amount of support 10 years later.
That's for sure.
Wow.
Adam Taliaferro, good to see you.
So great talking to you
guys.
this morning.
All right, thanks for coming in. We've got to take a break here. It's kind of a nasty morning, huh? But no matter what the weather, we'll be enjoying the Phillies.